Most people think procrastination means they're lazy. That's not true. Procrastination usually has nothing to do with willpower. It happens when your brain feels overwhelmed, unsure, or uncomfortable. And when that happens, your brain looks for relief, not progress. Today, I want to show you how to stop procrastinating without forcing yourself and without relying on willpower. Because willpower is not something you can depend on every day. Some days you feel strong. Other days, even small tasks feel heavy. And if getting started depends on willpower, you'll keep putting things off. Procrastination is not a character flaw, it's a signal. It tells you that something about the task or the way you're approaching it is creating friction. Your brain doesn't avoid work because it's lazy. It avoids work because it senses discomfort. That discomfort can come from many places. The task feels too big. You don't know where to start. You're afraid of doing it wrong, or you don't see clear progress. When the brain can't see a clear path forward, it stalls. So instead of asking, how do I force myself to do this? A better question is, how do I remove friction? Let's start with the first system. Procrastination often happens before you even begin. You sit down, open your computer, and immediately feel resistance. That's because your brain doesn't know what the first step is. So the first system is clarity. Not big picture clarity, just the next step. You don't ask, how do I finish this task? You ask, what is the smallest action I can take right now? Smaller than you think. If the task is writing, the first step might be opening the document. If the task is studying, the first step might be reading one page. If the task is cleaning, the first step might be clearing one surface. When the first step is obvious, your brain stops pushing back. Clarity reduces resistance. Now let's talk about the second system. Most people try to stop procrastinating by telling themselves to work harder. Focused people do the opposite. They work in short, defined blocks. Instead of saying, I need to work until this is done, they say, I'll work on this for 15 minutes. That's it. 15 minutes. This removes pressure. Your brain doesn't feel trapped. It knows there's an end. And when there's an end, starting feels safer. Set a short timer. During that time, you do one thing. No switching, no checking, no multitasking. When the timer ends, you stop. If you want to continue, you can, but you don't have to. This builds trust with your brain, and trust reduces procrastination. There's another reason procrastination shows up so often. Your brain is constantly trying to protect you, not from danger, but from discomfort. Any task that feels unclear, heavy, or emotionally charged gets flagged as something to avoid. That's why procrastination often increases when you're tired, stressed, or mentally overloaded. It's not because you suddenly became lazy, it's because your brain has fewer resources to deal with friction. This is why your environment matters more than motivation. If your workspace is cluttered, your brain has to work harder just to begin. If distractions are within reach, your brain will take the easiest escape. So one simple way to reduce procrastination is to reduce visual and mental noise. Clear the surface you're working on. Close the tabs you don't need. Put your phone out of reach. You're not trying to become disciplined. You're making distraction inconvenient. And inconvenience is often enough. Another important factor is how you talk to yourself. When you say things like, I should already be done with this, or why am I like this? You increase pressure, and pressure increases avoidance. Instead, you shift the language. You say, I'm just starting, or I'll work on this for a few minutes. This keeps the task neutral. The brain works better when it doesn't feel judged. Now let's talk about energy. Procrastination is worse when your energy is low. That's why trying to do difficult tasks at the end of the day often fails. Focused people match tasks to energy. They do harder things when their energy is higher.
and they save lighter tasks for later. This doesn't require a perfect schedule, it just requires awareness. If you know you're tired, don't ask yourself to do your best work. Ask yourself to do the smallest useful step. Small progress is still progress. Over time, this changes how your brain responds to work. Tasks stop feeling threatening. Starting feels more familiar. Resistance shows up less often. Procrastination doesn't disappear overnight, but it becomes quieter. And quieter is enough to move forward. Now let's move to the third system. This one is important and often ignored. Procrastination is closely linked to emotion. When a task is connected to stress, pressure, or self-judgment, your brain avoids it. So instead of judging yourself for procrastinating, you neutralize the task. You stop attaching meaning to it. You don't say, "This task defines me." You say, "This is just something I'm doing right now." Lower the emotional weight. The lighter the task feels emotionally, the easier it is to approach. This is why perfectionism causes procrastination. When the standard feels too high, starting feels risky. So you lower the standard. You don't aim for perfect, you aim for progress, even messy progress. Now let's talk about momentum. Momentum is not something you wait for, it's something you create by starting small. Once you take the first step, the brain updates its expectations. The task feels more manageable. The fear decreases. The noise quiets. This is why action comes before motivation, not the other way around. People who don't procrastinate less are not more disciplined. They're better at starting small and removing friction. Let's recap everything. If you want to stop procrastinating without willpower, focus on systems, not force. Make the first step obvious. Work in short, defined time blocks. Lower the emotional weight of the task. That's it. No pressure, no self-judgment, no motivation speeches. Just practical systems that make starting easier. You don't need more willpower, you need a better way to begin. Thanks for watching. More practical guides coming soon.